newsletter. Doug, once again, you've done a great job on there. And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the featured story today is about our wingman, Mark Townsend. Mark Townsend passed away last Thursday evening, peacefully, and he is going to be sorely missed here at Don McDowell Outdoors. Mark was a great part of the family program and the dialogue that went on between Mark and I, Doug and Mark, especially. What a food fight that always was. So,
Oh yeah.
anyway, great job on that, Doug. I appreciate that. And more to follow as this develops. One of the things that we heard today from Mark's sister was Mark has been donated to science. And once they complete whatever they're going to do with Mark, he'll be sent on to be cremated, and we'll have a celebration of life for him officially when it cools off a little bit. I'm thinking the end of September, 1st of October. Nick, Kurt, Dwayne, Delaney, Davis, Daniel, all these are good friends. We've got a big fishing community, but when somebody goes down, boy, they all pitch in with condolences, sympathies, kind words, and we're going to put together some type of a Townsend Legacy tournament. Mark was about helping the kids, did a lot of that. So whatever it is, we'll let you know as this develops. So moving along, what have we got around the nation, Douglas?
Well, starting out, sea lampreys is one of those things where you think, ooh, goofy. They're horrible. I don't know, whatever you want to call them. But up in Vermont, the public is reminded to not disturb the spawning sea lampreys. Where they spawn, what they do, I don't know, but that's just a note for those who live up in that area. Up in California, Lake Tahoe is going to receive 100,000 cutthroat trout. Good for California. There's an Idaho update on salmon fishing. Up in Montana, black bear was caught near a town called Fromberg and relocated to the mountains.
Did that particular bear try to taste anybody?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, good. Okay.
Wasn't? Yeah, I agree. Back in Arizona, your state, I think you mentioned it on the show, to apply for the 2022 fall hunts.
Yes.
There's a June 14th deadline. So get on your mark, get set, go. There were additional days added to the Columbia River recreational Pacific halibut fishery up in Oregon. For tiger muskies in Utah on Johnson Reservoir, the limit has been increased to 4 due to some of the repairs they're doing. Let's see, and that's about it there. Let's talk about, just nationally speaking, we're in the free fishing area for this country. Most game and fish departments provide anywhere from 1 to 3 days free fishing, no license required. I saw this article, Don, about the best lake trout lures of 2022, and most of these we're all familiar with. At least I recognize most of them, and I've been out fishing lake trout myself. Great choice on these baits, I thought. So good idea. And on the show, we had a gentleman that caught a 7-foot, what was it, 6-inch alligator gar?
Oh yeah, that was like 7'8", and I'm guessing probably in the 245, 250 pound range.
Yeah, another gentleman in Texas, a boat fisherman, did pretty much the same size there on a gar. Also, we need to talk about some of the water levels, what's going on with Chinook runs off the west coast. An interesting graph I came across shows up at now this is up at the Bonneville Dam, and the runs that are occurring right now are a pretty good run compared to years past and some of the spikes they've had before. So things look good on the Columbia River. Let's see.
So what you mentioned the water level. Is the water level stable, up, down? Where is it?
Interesting. Last night on the national news, there was a comment, not national, it was the Utah news, where they were talking about the water levels between Lake Mead and Powell, and specifically Powell. Interesting. They are going to cut back up on Lake Powell. They are now going to cut back on the amount of water that goes through these turbines because they don't have a lot of water. They want to reserve or keep the water that's in that reservoir as much as they can. So the days of yore are gone. We are now in a time frame, Don, where things are going to get bad. Things are going to get bad.
Well, that begs the question: why have the authorities waited this long? Duh. Really?
I don't know. Good question. Very good question. A number of people that pull water out of this Colorado Plateau and the Colorado River and those two reservoirs, something should have started a couple years ago, frankly, or more.
Yeah.
Because they saw it coming, So there you go. Hey, there is a Bassmaster College Series going up in Saginaw Bay, Michigan.
That's going to be a hairball.
It's on right now.
Yeah.
Interesting place, and I've been up there. It's a beautiful area. I'm going to just briefly talk about the editorial I found about are you ready for a lithium battery for your boat?
Yeah.
There's some pros and cons to that. The first thing that comes into my head is these are basically explosive devices, and you're out on the water in 112 degrees. God only knows what could happen. You could save a lot of money doing it, but there's a price potentially to pay for that.
Well, what's the price difference between a regular lead series battery and a lithium battery?
Well, according to this article, all right, and it sounds reasonable to me. A lithium-ion 12-volt deep cycle is priced at around $900 to $1,000, and gets about 3,000 cycles or more. All right. Now, compared to a lead acid, all right, that's only cost you about $160, but the lifespan on those, as you know, isn't as good. So there's the trade-off. I don't know. I guess that's your choice to make, whatever you want to do.
Well, I would add I'm not personally in favor of doing anything that benefits China. China has the lid on lithium batteries. So
they do.
Yeah, they do. And in this, I don't want to get on my soapbox again, but this new Green Deal with shoving the gas prices out of sight, trying to force us into electric vehicles and lithium batteries and this kind of thing is just the biggest crock of crap that I've ever heard. It's all about the environment. Well, you need to take a look at the footprint that is created around the lithium batteries and everything else versus using fossil fuels and this kind of thing. So, this is just one more thing I'm just going to say no to. And basically, being in America is wonderful. We have choices. And I choose not to propagate Mexico, China, Taiwan, Korea, France. You can take your French fries and shove it, if you could care less, and Canada. So, You know,
Yeah.
if if I have a choice and it's available, we need to be buying American products. And Biden's kind of wondering why his numbers are tanked. As stupid as stupid does, and if he'd put it back the way he found it, this would all go away by the end of his term, and he'd walk away with his head high instead of his head between his tails. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
No, I'm with you on it, Don. I throw
sorry
this stuff
about
out
this.
there for choice.
Yep, sorry about the soapbox. Okay, never mind. Okay.
That's okay. Through the ADA, the Arizona Deer Association, they auction off a lot of different items. I'm just, in this particular newsletter, I am posting the notice for the Swarovski NL Pure 12 by 42 binoculars.
Oh, yeah, 12 by
Nice looking
42s. Yeah.
Yeah. $20 a ticket. Hey, they're only selling 325. So go out to the Arizona Deer Association, which is azdeer.org. Get your binoculars.
Thank you.
Another thing I noticed also, every once in a while I catch these kind of things where one of the big magazines will put out this, the best 8 ever, or the best 10 ever. This happens to be lever action rifles ever made. And the number one is the Henry repeating rifle. Notwithstanding, Winchester plays a major role in our history. No question about it. And here's another get on your soapbox type of thing, where these red flag laws that they're trying to push through to help prevent mass shootings isn't going to work.
No.
I don't care how you slice it.
Nope.
It just isn't going to happen. There's some comments there on how this report they put out by Rasmussen, that 40% of likely U.S. voters believe mental health is more to blame for mass shootings by young men in America. 40%. Wow. Well, that may be true. I don't know.
Well, you need to do the math, and anybody that doesn't live in a closet and has a cognitive, reasonable thought process can figure this stuff out. This is all smoke and mirrors by the Biden administration and the likes of Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, Little Liar, and on and on and on. I mean, the list is long.
Yeah.
And what the demonstration that we saw Thursday night on the January 6th, that wasn't even a committee. It was a mob, but I'm not into complimenting Kamala Harris by any means, but she had a talk the other day about mental illness, and I think it was accentuated by all of the Dems and a couple of Republicans on this January 6th nonsense that they had on Thursday night. That exemplifies the problem with mental illness in this country. And what I would remind Nancy Pelosi is, and Mr. Schumer, and Nadler, Schiff, Thompson, another one, and that damn Liz Cheney. This is the people's house. It's not the Pelosi house. And you guys have politicized Russia collusion, the Ukraine investigations, and on and on and on. You've sidestepped Hillary Clinton. You're still chasing Trump. Everything Trump's fault. But you know what? You need to own your own mental illness. Trump didn't cause it. You did. So the gun grab thing, I mean, this is it. I mean, these kids hadn't even seen the inside of a mortuary. God love them. In the school shooting in Texas and every other thing that's gone on is a tragedy. I'm not making light of it. But Biden, the first thing he did, there was hardly any condolences before he was politicizing gun grabs, gun restrictions, more gun laws. You know what? And it boils down to this. If the states would enforce the laws that are on the books, currently on the books,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to make a damn bit of a difference. Why? Because the bad guys or the mentally inept guys, girls, whatever, they're going to get a weapon anyway.
That's right.
Okay, you think Joe the burglar down here is going to go get a go to Sportsman's Warehouse or Vachon Pro Shops or Cabela's and go through the background check. No, he's going to kick your door down, Doug, and he's going to steal your AR-15, handguns, rifles, whatever it is, or buy one for some other jerk in a Walmart parking lot.
Yep,
that's the way. That's the way it's done. You know, in this last school shooting, like every other thing that's gone by, Sandy Hook and in Broadwater County and all of this, now they're blaming law enforcement. It could be stopped. The whole thing could be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
But gun control is not the way to stop it. Look, they haven't done anything, any policies that have had any success, and this is just another failed attempt at shielding the American public from all of their failures. And the list is long, and I'm not going to go into, inflation on food, cars, rent, fuel, all of that kind of thing. And the other thing that we're into 300 days of Americans still being held in Afghanistan, and the American public, they're not telling everybody that there's over 200 Ukrainian soldiers being killed a day by Putin and his band of thugs. So, I mean, you got to figure it out. I don't know how we got started on this, where we started, but I'm done. Thank you very much. Oh, back on the model Winchesters. I got to tell you, that is one of the finest guns ever made in the 30 caliber. And oh my goodness, and it's still,
Winchester was basically the workhorse of the West. Let's face it.
Oh yeah,
that's the gun that made the West. Well, let's move on, Don. I did an update on what's going on up in Bristol Bay, Alaska.
Nice.
There's a map there so you can see where it's at, some comments, etc. There are a lot of things I like to put out here. There's one I thought was, okay, this is getting goofy again, about using lead as a fishing lure versus alternative methods. So the Fish and Wildlife Service has proposed lead fishing tackle on certain national wildlife refuges. I guess I got that right.
Yeah.
At any rate, to get rid of the lead in these, and there is no supportive evidence that can be figured out.
No.
It would arbitrarily ban lead fishing tackle in several these locations based on unfounded or overgeneralized assumptions.
Exactly. This has been tried. This has been going on for 10 or 12 years. It's been tried.
Longer,
yeah. It's been tried. It's been to court on several occasions up in the northern states that the loon has been damaged by consuming lead fishing products. And each time I think that's been to court 3 times now. I could be mistaken on that. Maybe it's only 2, maybe it was 4. But whatever the case is, the bottom line is they were dismissed like everything else. There's 3 kinds of science. There's the left science, there's the right science, and then there's the actual science right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And to my knowledge, there is no evidence or science to support the evidence the lead fishing tackle is harming any specific wildlife group or population, birds, fish, anything else. Now, that said, there was a push on lead bullets in and around areas that contain the California condor. Jesse Johnson and myself and others participated in a lead versus copper shoot, and quite frankly, I went into it thinking, well, this is a bunch of BS. And I've been using lead bullets, composite bullets, specifically. Heck, I was raised on Winchester silver tips, and they do a good job. And they quit making them. You can buy a rendition of them, but it's not the same today. But at the end of the shoot, the science was there for you to touch. The fragmentation on the lead was extreme. The fragmentation on the copper bullet was minute. the expansion on the copper was as good as, if not better, because they didn't fragment on the copper bullets. Now, did that catch on? No. Can you buy copper bullets today? Barely. It goes back to the Biden BS about supply chain. I mean, everybody's hollering, oh, supply chain, yeah. Well, whatever. I think most of this is there are issues. I'm not making light of that, but I think the price gouging and the retailers, I think there's some created shortages like there always is. It's America. People are going to cheat because they can to make a profit at the expense of everybody else, just like at the gas pumps. At the gas pumps, there is no legitimate reason for gas to go up 20 cents from Friday night to Sunday afternoon. Where is it?
That's another story.
Yeah. That's Fry's, Quick Trip, Chevron, corporate stations. Oh my gosh! I mean, these guys are screwing us at the gas. Coming in, here in Phoenix, Arizona, they're talking about, the national gas average is $5 a gallon. Well, you ought to come to Maricopa County, folks. The crap we're getting out of California. I got to get off my soapbox. I'm done. I'm sorry, Doug.
Oh, that's all right. Well, I'm going to say kind of lastly, there is a poaching issue that occurred in Wisconsin. I'm just going to summarize this. There were 29 citations issued with 91 whitefish seized and confiscated by the court, which also ordered a total of 24 years of rights revocation. The citations included exceeding the daily bag limit of whitefish, intentionally snagging fish, and failing to release foul-hooked fish. It goes on. We see this every week. There's somebody out there playing this game. So there you go.
Wow. What state was that?
That was up in Wisconsin.
Oh.
But, Don, this happens all over the country. I don't care what state we're talking about.
It does.
Even Arizona Game and Fish, Utah Game and Fish, we deal with it every day. So they ought to be put away. They ought to be everything taken away from them. You want to cheat, you pay the price.
Yeah, we just looked at revocations here in Arizona on Friday, and the type of poaching that we're seeing, I'm going to call it poaching, or they're breaking the law, call it whatever you will. It's deliberate. It's not, it was an accident. Really? You pulled the trigger 2 times and you killed 2 mule deers, and it was an accident? I beg to differ. But anyway,
right.
We're going to let the cat out of the bag here in a couple of weeks. We've had a huge poaching incident here in Arizona, Unit 20C, which is all I'm going to tell you. 5 arrests have been made. There's been 3 convictions thus far. There's been monetary spankings, jail time for these 3 guys, and I don't know what the amount of time was. And there's 2 more waiting for a trial, and one is arm wrestling for a plea deal, and we're going to see how that turns out. Arizona Deer Association put up reward money. I'm going to be writing a check from the ADA bank account to go into the Silent Witness Operation Game Thief program here in Arizona. But this was a big one, and it's taken a couple of years to gather up all. These investigations are slow. They drive me nuts. You catch a guy.
Well, just look at the cost of that investigation.
Oh yeah.
Notwithstanding, I mean, gee, Christmas.
Well,
anyway.
We've determined there was a Phoenix cop, and I've got a lot of respect for the cops, except this one. He shot 2 large, and I emphasize large, really big ones, mule deer. Put them both down, knew what he did. You know, he's got some excuses, but they're not valid. And what did he do? He picked up the phone and called his dad. Said, "Dad, you got to get up here and tag one of these deer. We're going to get in trouble." Okay, so here's a cop that should be held to higher standards, breaking the law deliberately, getting his dad in trouble. And he had, 20 minutes worth of excuses to the Board of Commissioners after he went to court. And they charged him over $3,000, I believe, for the cost of the mule deer. And he lost his hunting, fishing, trapping guide privileges in Arizona for a period of 5 years, which I don't think is enough. The good news is Arizona is part of a band of states that exercise reciprocity on revocation. So it's not just Arizona he's revoked in.
No.
It's another 42, 43, 44 states, whatever it is, he's done. And the other things that we see, I mean, that's just, you sit there in awe of the stupidity. I mean, it takes a special kind of stupid for these people to go out and do what they do. The bad part about it is there's little or no, these poachers, I mean, there's guys like this guy, he'll probably never do it again, but there's guys out there that get busted for poaching that don't have a license, don't give a damn whether they've got a license. They're going to, pay their money, take their chances, do what they're going to do. They get caught, fine. They'll pay the fine. They don't care about the revocation period. They're going to keep doing it anyway. I mean, oh my goodness, it's just that's a topic for a 2-day radio show.
I agree. Hey, that's about it. So I'm done.
So, that being said, folks, you can sign up for Doug's newsletter at huntingfishing.com. Go to the main page, click on news, follow the prompts. That'll take you right to where you sign up for Doug's weekly newsletter. Great job, Doug. I'm Don McDowell. This is Don McDowell Outdoors, huntingfishing.com.